The driver didn't ask Diego Maradona where they were going. He'd been told the car would pick him up at 8. That was the call that afternoon. Not from the club. From Carmine Giuliano, a businessman who'd appeared courtside at the stadium presentation and somehow already had Maradona's private number. Dinner, Giuliano said. A few people who wanted to welcome him properly. Maradona agreed because saying no to hospitality in Naples 3 weeks after arriving felt wrong. The car was black. Expensive. The driver held the door open, didn't speak, didn't make eye contact. They drove through the old quarter near the port. Narrow streets, no signs. The kind of neighborhood tourists didn't find. The restaurant had no name on the door, just a number. The driver pulled up, got out, opened Maradona's door, gestured inside. Giuliano was waiting in the entryway, smiled, shook his hand, led him through a narrow hallway to a private room in the back. 3 men sat at the table. None of them stood. The oldest one, 60 maybe, gray hair, dark suit, looked up briefly, nodded once, then went back to finishing his conversation with the man beside him. The third man, younger, didn't look up at all, just kept his eyes on his glass. Giuliano gestured to the empty chair. Maradona sat. Wine appeared. The older man poured Maradona's glass first, then his own. The others didn't get any. "You're settling in," the man said. Not a question. "Yes," Maradona said. "The city's been welcoming." "Good." The man took a sip. "Your wife, she's coming next month?" Maradona paused. He hadn't told anyone outside the club about Claudia's travel plans. The man noticed the pause, didn't acknowledge it. "It's better when family's close," he said. "Safer." Plates arrived. Pasta, fish, no one had ordered. The food just came. Giuliano made small talk, training, the apartment in Posillipo, whether Maradona needed anything. The older man ate slowly, listened, occasionally nodded. The younger man still hadn't spoken, just watched. Halfway through the meal, the older man set down his fork. "In Naples, things work differently than Barcelona," he said. "You'll find problems don't reach you here. They get handled." He gestured vaguely toward the door. "Contracts, appearances, people who want access. There are a lot of them. We make sure the wrong ones stay away." Giuliano leaned forward slightly. "You focus on football, Diego. Everything else we take care of." The older man picked up his glass, looked at Maradona over the rim. "Tomorrow," he said, "after training. You have lunch with Ferlano, then the interview at 3. Maradona hadn't mentioned the Corriere dello Sport interview to anyone outside the club. The man continued. "After that, you're free. We'll send a car. 5:30. There's someone you should meet." It wasn't phrased as a question. The younger man finally spoke, flat, quiet. "He doesn't like to wait." The older man stood. The younger man stood with him. Neither said goodbye. They just left. Giuliano stayed seated, still smiling. "Finish your meal, Diego. No rush." Maradona looked at him, tried to find the right question. Giuliano's smile stayed in place, but his tone shifted. "Tomorrow, 5:30. The driver will be outside the training facility." He stood, patted Maradona on the shoulder. Then he left, too. Maradona sat alone. The owner appeared, cleared the plates. No check, already handled. When Maradona walked outside, the same black car was waiting. Engine running. Driver standing beside it, with the door already open. Maradona got in. The driver didn't speak, didn't ask if he was ready. Just closed the door and pulled away from the restaurant. They drove deeper into the old quarter. Streets got narrower, darker. Buildings pressed close on both sides. No street lights. just dim windows and occasional shadows moving in doorways. The car stopped in front of a 3-story building. Stone facade, heavy wooden door, no sign, no number visible. The driver got out, opened Maradona's door, gestured toward the entrance. The door was already unlocked. Inside, a narrow staircase led up. No lights on the first floor, just enough glow from above to see the steps. Maradona climbed. The driver stayed outside. At the top, a hallway. One door open at the end. Voices inside. Low, steady. Maradona walked toward it. The room was small. A desk, a few chairs, shelves lined with ledgers and folders. 3 men were inside, 2 standing near the window, 1 sitting behind the desk. The one at the desk looked up. Older than the man from the restaurant. 70 maybe. Thin, glasses. Suit that looked like it cost more than most people in Naples earned in a year. He didn't stand, didn't smile. Just gestured to the chair across from him. Maradona sat. One of the men by the window moved behind him. Didn't sit, just stood there. Close enough that Maradona could hear him breathing. The man at the desk folded his hands. "Carmine tells me you're smart," he said, "that you understand how things work." Maradona nodded, didn't know what else to do. The man opened a drawer, pulled out a folder, set it on the desk, but didn't open it. "Your contract with Napoli," he said. 12 million, 4 years, salary, bonuses, endorsements. He tapped the folder. "We know what's in it." Maradona stayed quiet. The man leaned back slightly. "Endorsements are tricky. A lot of people want access, some of them legitimate, some not. We help you know the difference." The man by the window shifted, crossed his arms. The man at the desk continued. "There's a beverage company, local. They want you for a campaign. Good money, clean deal. We've already arranged the meeting." Maradona opened his mouth to speak. The man held up a hand. "It's handled. Your agent will receive the paperwork tomorrow. You'll sign it next week." It wasn't a suggestion. The man at the desk pushed the folder forward slightly. "There will be others. Appearances, events, charity functions. We make sure they're the right ones, the ones that benefit you and a city." He paused. Let that last part settle. "In return," he said, "you'll find your life here very comfortable. No complications, no unexpected problems. People who might cause trouble, they stay away." The man by the window stepped closer, leaned down slightly, spoke quietly near Maradona's ear. "Your family, when they come, they'll be taken care of, protected." Maradona felt his chest tighten. He hadn't told anyone Claudia was nervous about moving to Italy. The man at the desk stood, walked to the window, looked out at the street below. "Naples loves you, Diego, but love here works differently. It's not just emotion, it's structure, and structure requires participation." He turned back, looked at Maradona directly. "You're not just a footballer anymore. You represent something bigger, and that comes with responsibility." The man by the window moved to the door, opened it, stood waiting. The man at the desk didn't say goodbye, just sat back down, picked up a pen, started writing something in one of the ledgers. Maradona stood, walked toward the door. As he reached the hallway, the man at the desk spoke again. Didn't look up. "The car will pick you up Thursday, 7 o'clock. There's a dinner, important people. You'll be there." It wasn't a question. Maradona walked down the stairs. The driver was waiting outside. Door already open. The car picked him up Thursday at 7. Same driver, same black sedan. They drove to a villa in Posillipo. Stone walls, Iron gates that opened without anyone visible. A long driveway lined with hedges. The villa was lit from inside. Voices already audible. The driver opened the door, gestured, didn't follow. Maradona walked in. The front room was full, 20 people, maybe more, well-dressed, talking quietly in clusters, wine, cigarette smoke. Carmine Giuliano appeared immediately, smiled, took Maradona by the arm, led him through introductions, first names only, no titles, firm handshakes, respectful nods. No one asked about football. After a few minutes, Giuliano gestured toward the back. Don Vincenzo is waiting. They walked through a side door into a study. Bookshelves, large desk, leather chairs. Don Vincenzo sat behind the desk. The man from the restaurant, the one who had poured the wine. Another man sat in the corner, older, 80 maybe, white hair, didn't stand when Maradona entered. Vincenzo gestured to the chair across from him. Maradona sat. Vincenzo folded his hands. Next week, Tuesday, there's a charity event in Scampia. For children, you'll attend. Maradona nodded. The mayor will be there, local business owners, press. You'll speak briefly, shake hands, take photos. The man in the corner spoke, voice thin but clear. The Giuliano family is organizing it. They've been working with the community for years. Vincenzo nodded. It's good for the city, good for you, shows unity. He opened a drawer, pulled out a folder, set it on the desk. The speech is written, short, 3 minutes. Your assistant will receive it tomorrow. Maradona didn't have an assistant. Vincenzo pushed the folder forward slightly, didn't open it. The car will pick you up at 4. Wear a suit, dark. The photographers will be positioned at the entrance. He stood, walked to a cabinet, opened it, pulled out a framed photograph, set it on the desk facing Maradona. It was from the stadium presentation, the day Maradona signed. But in the photo, standing just behind him at the edge of the frame, was one of the men from the restaurant, the younger one who hadn't spoken. Vincenzo tapped the frame lightly. We've been with you from the beginning. The man in the corner stood slowly, walked over, put a hand on Maradona's shoulder, brief, light. Loyalty is simple. You're visible. We're not. He left the room. Vincenzo gestured for Maradona to stand, led him back to the main room. Before they entered, he stopped. There's a photographer here tonight. He'll take a few photos. Casual. Nothing formal. Just to remember the evening. They walked back in. A photographer was already moving through the room, taking candid shots, conversations, handshakes, smiles. When he saw Maradona, he approached, started clicking. Maradona with Giuliano. Maradona with several older men whose names he didn't know. Maradona shaking hands with a man who introduced himself as a city councilman. Vincenzo positioned himself beside Maradona in several shots. Not obvious, just present in the frame. No one asked permission. The camera just kept moving. After 20 minutes, Giuliano handed Maradona a glass of wine, guided him toward a group near the window. Someone was talking about construction contracts, port expansion, permits that needed approval. The conversation paused when Maradona approached. One of the men smiled, shook his hand. Diego, he said, we're honored. Another photo. Maradona in the center. 4 men around him, all smiling. The man who'd spoken leaned closer, lowered his voice slightly. Next time you need anything, permits, access, introductions, you call Carmine. He'll handle it. Maradona nodded. The photographer circled back. More shots, different angles. Maradona laughing at something someone said. Maradona holding the wine glass. Maradona standing beside Vincenzo near the fireplace. An hour later, Giuliano walked him to the door, handed him a small envelope. The speech for Tuesday, and the address. Outside, the black car was waiting. Engine running. Maradona got in. The driver pulled away. When he got home, there was a suit hanging in his closet. Dark, expensive, a note pinned to the sleeve. Tuesday, 4 p.m. No signature. The car arrived at 4. By the time they reached Scampia, the crowd was already gathered. A community center, modest, cameras set up near the entrance, local press, television crews. The mayor stood near the doorway, shook Maradona's hand, smiled for the cameras, stepped aside. Carmine Giuliano was there. So was Don Vincenzo, standing off to the side. Not in the main group, just visible enough. Maradona was led inside. Children lined up along one wall, parents behind them. Photographers positioned at angles that captured everything. Someone handed Maradona the microphone. He spoke briefly, thanked the community, said Naples felt like home, said he was honored to give back. 3 minutes, just like Vincenzo said. Applause, handshakes, photos with the children, photos with the mayor, photos with the organizers. Giuliano stepped forward, handed Maradona an oversized check, made out to the community center. 50 million lire. The Giuliano Family Foundation printed across the top. More photos. Maradona holding the check. Giuliano standing beside him. Don Vincenzo in the background, not posing, just present. The press asked questions. Maradona answered. Said he wanted to support the city that had welcomed him, that Naples deserved everything. Someone asked if he'd work with local charities regularly. Giuliano answered before Maradona could. We've already arranged several events. Diego understands what this city needs. The cameras kept clicking. When it was over, Maradona shook more hands, posed for more photos, then walked back to the car. The next morning, the photo was on the front page of Il Mattino. Maradona holding the check, smiling, Giuliano beside him, Vincenzo visible in the background. The headline read, Maradona, a gift to Naples. Below the fold, smaller text, Local leaders unite to support the South. By the time most people saw it, the relationship was already public, not explained, not questioned, just documented.